Bartender. When working in a bar, you will often have a team of people around you, with every person having particular roles and responsibilities. These different roles and responsibilities need to be fulfilled in order for the bar to run properly. In this lesson, we will start with the central figure in a bar, the bartender, and take a look at how they serve, maintain the supplies and inventory, mix cocktails, and uphold the law. Let's start with their first role, serving. The most important role of a bartender is to serve guests drinks. Ultimately, you are there to give them what they want and do it all in a way that is better than they ever expected. In terms of the basics of serving, a bartender starts by taking orders directly from guests or from waiters. Once the order is taken, the bartender can then go about preparing whatever is needed for that order. When working in a front-of-house bar, a bartender also needs to be an entertainer. This means that you should work in a way that the guests enjoy. Whether it be by showing them impressive skills or talking to them and making them laugh, everything that you do needs to make the guests enjoy themselves. Now we can look at maintaining supplies and the inventory. Maintaining the supplies of a bar is simply making sure that there is always enough stock of drinks, garnishes, glasses, ingredients, and equipment to get through the next service. An inventory is just another name for a list of all the supplies that you have at that moment in time. It allows you to know what you have so that you can make a decision as to whether or not you need more of anything. While we have just spoken about serving being the most important part of being a bartender, others may argue that maintaining the supplies and inventory is just as important. Why do you think this is the case? You are absolutely correct if you said that without maintaining your supplies and inventory, there will come a time during service where you have nothing left and aren't able to serve your guests. By maintaining your supplies and inventory, you are able to serve your guests. Let's move on to mixing cocktails. This is one of the most exciting and magical parts of being a bartender. Mixing cocktails is all about measuring, combining, stirring, shaking, muddling, crushing and blending different ingredients to create the most unbelievable flavors. The fashionable name for mixing and combining ingredients to create cocktails is mixology. Your guests will love nothing more than to see a confident bartender elegantly and accurately measure, mix and shake a wonderful cocktail. Probably the most exciting part of mixing cocktails is when a bartender gains enough experience to create their own delicious cocktails. This is possible when you have reached a level of understanding flavors, what mixes well with what, and in what quantities they work together. This is the ultimate goal for every bartender. Lastly, upholding the law. It is the responsibility of every bartender working in a bar that serves alcohol to be responsible and uphold the law. This needs to be done by understanding two rules which may never be broken. Rule number 1. Ensure all drinkers are of the legal drinking age. Around the world, almost every single country has placed a legal limit on the age at which people are allowed to buy and drink alcohol. What this means is that a person may not buy or drink alcohol if they are below a certain age. For example, in the USA, you may only buy and drink alcohol once you are 21 years old, while in South Africa, you have to be 18 before you are allowed to do either. If you are suspicious about the age of a guest at your bar, and they are either drinking alcohol or wanting to order alcohol, make sure to ask to see their identification document. If you're still unsure of whether they are legally the correct age, call your manager and inform them of the situation. Rule number 2. Refusing to serve intoxicated or drunk guests more alcohol. This is a principle that depends a lot on your interpretation of a situation. This means that you will be required to make a decision on whether or not a person should be served any more alcohol at your bar. When people drink too much alcohol, they become intoxicated, and this affects them in a number of ways. It impairs their movement and speech. They are not able to think clearly, and their behavior often becomes unpredictable. It is important that these people are not served any more alcohol. In fact, some countries have made it law that bartenders are not to serve intoxicated guests. If you are ever faced with an intoxicated guest who is wanting more alcohol, politely refuse them. If they persist with asking, call your manager to deal with the situation. Well done on finishing this lesson where we looked at the 4 main roles and responsibilities of the bartender.